He was reading a small stanza in the Rig Veda called Urj, which said, the mother and father of all energy is water. And then he found out the structure of water. And he found out how water has a very complicated structure. It's not H2O. It's a very complicated structure with a lot of loose bonds. And he was the one who found out that you can put a silver into the water, nanoparticles. It gets amalgamated into silver water, which is a very good antiseptic, antibiotic, very good for treatment. Actually, he was a PhD in metallurgy, but became professor of medicine in a big university in America, because he found out so many things about medicine from his ideas. And he was the one who showed that you can actually get energy from water. And you can, really analyze water. He found out how to get atomic hydrogen from water. In our laboratory, you can get molecular hydrogen from water. What you leave behind is nascent oxygen. So if you put that for running an engine, the engine will be eaten up in 1 week. But Rustom Rai found out how to get atomic oxygen from water, and by passing radio waves through water. So he kept water in a test tube and passed radio waves, and out came atomic hydrogen. So he lit it. So he shows water burning. So he showed that Urj, sloka in the Rig Veda is absolutely right. But he didn't get the Nobel Prize. 21 times Nobel nominated, but didn't get the Nobel Prize because each paper he wrote, he used to praise India. If you praise India, you will not get Nobel Prize. I want you to read a paper of Rustom Rai, which is in the internet free, called Matter is not made out of matter. What's the paper's name? Matter is not made out of matter. Very interestingly, he was talking about it in a meeting where I was present. So he said, I'm a nuclear scientist. My job is to look at matter at its subtlest level and subtlest level. So I was doing it for 55 years. I started with Einstein, Niels Bohr, Werner Heisenberg, and then now I am the director of Max Planck Institute. But I found out in between somewhere there is no matter at all. And matter is not there, matter is just energy. So E is equal to M. He is the one who found out. E, energy, is equal to matter, M. And he said, I call it as a duality, a duality. And he said, what am I in front of the Indian sages of yore who had realized this long back as Advaita? A duality is called Advaita. He says in one stanza in the Upanishad, which has come to Bhagavad Gita and out, they have described the whole of quantum physics, because he is the father of quantum physics. His name is Hans Peter Dürr, H-A-N-S-P-E-T-E-R-D-U-R-R. And Hans, a good friend of mine, found out that one stanza, and he quotes that stanza in English in that. He says, Bahir antascha bhutanam. It is inside and outside of everything. What is that? Energy. Charam acharamevacha. It's moving all the time but looks solid. Now you all look solid. I look solid, but there's nothing solid about us. We are all just a bundle of jumping leptococs or electrons. Nobody has seen an electron. Sukshmavatet avijnayam. This sloka says, you can't see it. Just can't see it. Can you imagine that? Long, long ago, long before electrons were known. But even today, no scientist has seen an electron. But they've all got a Nobel Prize for describing what an electron is. Imagination only. J.J. Thomson in 1907 got the Nobel Prize for saying that electrons are particles. He was the director of the Cavendish Institute in Cambridge. 30 years later, his own son, P.J. Thomson, said they are waves. He also got the Nobel Prize. In 1925, Werner Heisenberg said uncertainty principle. He is absolutely right. He got the Nobel Prize. In 32, Schrödinger said they are wavicles. They are waves and particles. He also got the Nobel Prize. But nobody has seen the electron in the bargain. Why can't you see an electron? All great students in the back. Why can't you see an electron? Have you seen God? So God doesn't exist, right? Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. So God doesn't have any evidence to exist, so He doesn't exist. That's not correct. That's called foolish science. That's called illogical science. Science has no logic. Illogical science. You know why? Why can't you see an electron? Huh? Again the Upanishad says, Asino vrajati duram, shayano jati sarvatha. When you sit, you are everywhere, and when you nowhere, you are nowhere. So beautiful, but you can't see an electron. Have you seen wind? An American poet has so beautifully described that. Who has seen the wind? Neither you nor I. But when the trees bend and dance, the wind is passing by. So I changed that. Who has seen God? Neither you nor I. But when we are in trouble and shout for God, we feel God. Physics wise, we can't see an electron, because how do I see you physics wise? A few photons in you should leave your body and come and hit my eye. Then only I am aware of your presence. You are there or not there, I don't know. That's Maya. That's why it's called illusion. Uncertainty principle. Illusion. But if one photon leaves an electron, it no longer is an electron. So how can you see an electron? You can't see an electron. So just because you have not seen God, it doesn't mean God doesn't exist. I don't know, I heard this in school. When Vivekananda was a little arrogant, young he was, he went to Ramakrishna Ji and said, have you seen God? And what Ramakrishna Ji did was, gave him a real hit on the face. Then he realized and went. So this is what happens, you see. When you realize, go above, you can feel God. So Ramakrishna Paramahamsa felt God. And he felt God in everything that he said. And that's what inspired Vivekananda to follow him. Because Vivekananda was a rationalist. He wouldn't follow anything which he doesn't rationalize. So that's how Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was the greatest sage that I have ever seen, ever heard of, or ever read about. And Vivekananda was the most faithful Shishya that I would like to be of any master. The man who revived our ancient wisdom in the West. The next man after that who proved in science that Eastern science is greater than the Western science was Rustum Roy. And Rustum Roy is a great man. So he was saying in the meeting that I have not seen an electron, but I can feel an electron. And because I am a Western scientist, I know the hollowness of the Western science. Outside people don't know. If you want to know what science, Western science is, read this book, write down. It's called The Golem. Golem, Golem. G for God, O for Orange, L for London, E for England, M for Mother. Golem. Do you know what Golem is? Any Malayalis here? Golem. What is Golem? Any Malayalis here? Nobody from Kerala? Huh? In the Golem. Golem. Scarecrow. You know scarecrow? Have you heard of scarecrow? The figure they put in a building and all. So science is created as a scarecrow to frighten the colonies, to keep them under their thumb. So today you see, the minute the Americans say it's science, you believe it. Otherwise you say Ayurveda is not science, you don't believe it. Because Americans don't think Ayurveda is science, so they say it's not science. So what is science? Golem. And science has become a greater religion than all the religions put together. Read this book. Science Set Free. The book's name is Science Set Free. Written by one of the greatest scientists the world has seen. Another greatest scientist. His name is Rupert Sheldrake in Cambridge. Rupert Sheldrake. You know Sheldrake, a biologist. Science Set Free. He says science is under clutches. Set it free. Then only you can progress. You are not progressing now because science has become a more dogmatic religion than religion. So that is how. What is religion? Religion, what does it mean? Join again. You're taking you back to your roots. With probably, as some people said, yoga is connecting Atman with Paramatman, which it is not. Patanjali never said, actually there is a view, I don't know how far it's true, that Patanjali was an atheist, he never believed in God. That's why Patanjali said simply, you become God. Chitta vritti nirodha yoga. You become a yogi when you don't have any nirodha in your chitta, in your mind. Chitta is a different level of mind. See, mind has 5 levels according to Ayurveda.